Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation. And today, looking at a new workout regime to energise you. I'm Tony, thanks for listening. Today I'm not out and about recording this podcast intro. I know I normally do that, but I'm in my spare room, in the corner, kind of in a very unglamorous part of the house, recording this podcast intro because today we're going outside into my garden with a new workout regime to energise you. I've been banging on about this for quite some time, and I think these are tough times. I think, a lot of us are very worried and anxious and terrified of the consequences of COVID. And then there's more than that, because our lives are just kind of lacking this sparkle that they had previously, aren't they? And perhaps we don't have as much to look forward to, certainly not booking many holidays at the moment. We're not having much fun, and we're not really looking into people's eyes, but we're looking at screens a lot. And I think we need to find different things to energise us, and that's why I'm pleased to be presenting a podcast about energy at this time. And as I say, I've been banging on about this for quite some time because I love Qi Gong. It's a kind of gentle form of exercise that is very meditative and extraordinarily hard work if you get it right as well, especially with the breath. I love Qi Gong. And the wonderful hayoufit people made it over to my garden a couple of weeks ago, beating Tier 2 lockdown by a matter of hours. Arron Thomas, or Arron Personal Trainer on Instagram, and Katie Brindle, they managed to beat the lockdown and come and visit for a socially distanced Qigong in the garden session, because that's the way I roll. I mean, the neighbours couldn't work out what was going on, and it was all quite a lot of fun. And we did an Instagram live at the same time on their channels and on mine. And the reason this is a hybrid podcast is because the first 15 minutes of our chat works perfectly for a podcast, and you're about to hear that. And after that, I think this is one of the most energizing things you can do with your day. If you're listening to this podcast because you would like a little bit more energy, vitality, and motivation, you're in the right place. But after that, I'm going to be honest with you, if I played you the next 20 minutes audio only of what we did in the garden, it wouldn't make much sense without the video as well. So after that, you need to watch what happened on Instagram if you'd like to tap into the outside energy that we're talking about in this podcast. So this is recorded in my garden. You can listen along now, and at 15 minutes I'll come back in, we'll dip the audio, and if you fancy doing that outside energy, if you fancy tapping into that, I will guide you to the right place on Instagram. For now, here is the awesome Arron Thomas. It's so nice to meet up with people in person as well. I mean, I used to do this podcast in person all the time, and at the moment we're not allowed to. So this was lovely. It was in the rules, just about, by a few hours. And it was lovely to record with Arron. And then a little bit later on, you'll hear Katie Brindle, who was kind of lurking in the shadows and then came in to join us as well. Here it is, a bit of outside energy on Zestology.
Okay, so we're live. We are here with Tony Wrighton. Tony is a Sky Sports presenter, and he's an author, and you've got your podcast Zestology, which is all about Qi and energy, right? So
yes,
perfect person to talk to. And you've also done he's also done our 12 Rivers course and animals, haven't you?
Yeah, I love it. And mate, thanks for coming here. You've just beaten lockdown.
It's great to finally meet you.
I'm so happy that you're here. Like you're kitted out, ready to go. I've totally let the side down wearing trousers, but it's all right. I can still do some animal moves like this.
They're flexible.
Yeah, exactly. But mate, no, thanks so much. I've really loved the Qigong classes, and I've been interested in it for absolutely ages. And by the way, I think we're on my Instagram live as well. But you are much more of an Instagram live pro than me, so we'll see if that actually works or not. But I've been into it for so long. And like, I've been doing Qigong classes on YouTube for about 10 years, and I never really knew what I was doing. And then obviously got to know Katie, who introduced me to you. Yeah. And all of a sudden you started doing these courses. So I've really loved it.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it's been great for us. We've got an amazing platform over the last few months. And yeah, it's great that we can finally meet, but we've been working together online. I was actually on your podcast not that long ago, which was great as well. And actually, we picked up quite a few clients to the course from that as well. So that was brilliant for us.
Yeah, and I live in hope that one day I'm going to get a hayoufit hoodie, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see what we can do.
White hoodie with the
I know a few people. I might be able to pull some strings for you.
Yeah. I've got to apologise for my neighbour Wendy, who's doing some work on her roof. She's absolutely lovely. She might pop over and do a bit of Qigong, but if you can hear any weird noise in the background,
we'll let Wendy off.
Socially distancing in the garden.
Exactly.
And I'm hopefully recording it for my podcast as well.
Excellent.
But I love the Qigong so much, and I really wanted to ask you, how you got into it, because I know you're a big rugby player. You're kind of very sporty. To me, it feels like a very male practice, and I know that's the kind of topic of what we wanted to speak about. But actually, when I've taken your courses, predominantly it's been women on the course. But to me, it feels so masculine and far more masculine than yoga, actually.
Yeah, I think we're trying to change that perception a little bit. It's kind of, at the moment, quite female-orientated, but this is a great practice for men and women. And in particular, the animals. We'll have a look at some animal moves a little bit later. But they're quite yang in nature, which is more of an aspect of a male energy. And also, it feels quite physical. It feels quite nice to do these. Some of the poses, like this kidney one, everyone loves this one. It's like a low pose. Everyone absolutely loves that move, and it's quite a strong kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And so, I think we're just trying to bring it to the fact that everybody needs this in their lives. It's great for meditating at the same time, because people really struggle with that meditation. And so it helps to quieten the mind. We're moving, we're breathing all at the same time.
And if any one of those parts isn't in there, you know about it straight away, because it all goes wrong. Oh, I'm pointing in the wrong direction, and I'm looking in the wrong direction, and I'm not breathing right, and you work it out straight away, don't you? And it helps you check in with yourself.
Yeah, that focus. You get you go very internal with it, and it's the intent. When you've got the intent and you're really in the moves, you can't think as much else apart from actually what you're trying to do. You think about your body, your breathing. It's just such a nice practice, and it's complemented so much of what I do with my clients as a personal trainer, but also in my kind of workouts. Right? I do some Qigong at the beginning of a workout to just center myself, find that balance and calm, and then at the end again, just to help me transition off into my day.
Well, that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I need your help a little bit. Because what's happened is over the last couple of months, I've been working out every day. I've got a bit lazy, because I'm counting a 12 rivers workout as a workout, and whilst that is it's very meditative and it's quite chill, and I feel like I need to be doing slightly more yang cardio, which is why I did your animal play course and why I've loved it, but I just need to be doing a bit more, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you've got to find that combination in your week. It's not finding balance. Sometimes you need that yin stuff. If you've been stressed and you're tired, probably the last thing you want to do is come and do a really heavy session. So nurture yourself and build your internal energy, your internal Qi, with some 12 rivers or some between heaven and earth sequences, or just some really easy moves. There's some really simple moves that, again, we'll look at those in a second, just some breathing and some shaking kind of thing.
You can make me look like a fool on my Instagram live by doing some animal play moves in the garden.
Yeah, exactly. But they're supposed to be fun, but we're animals. We are pretending to be animals. It's all about having fun and being playful. I mean, we forget that in a lot of our lives, right? We forget to be playful. We forget just to have fun with what we do. We're so serious in our workouts. We go and think about having to train really hard and count exactly how many reps we're doing, and everything's kind of monitored so closely, rather than just doing what comes naturally, moving, breathing, and enjoying it. Right. So that's what we're going to have a look at in a minute. But
I think also it's come along at the right time. I just think at the moment, life is just a bit shit for people, isn't it? And this is something we've been working on quite a lot, and thinking about, when you're a bit down on life, what you actually need more than anything else is energy. And often the time when we talk about energy, if you do a Google search for books about energy, it can be kind of very esoteric, hippy-dippy concepts, but actually, we just need the things that are going to fire us up. And one of those things is exercise, and another one of those things is meditation. So if you can kind of combine that, then that works really well.
Exactly, and that's why I love the animals. I mean, as a guy who kind of plays sports, I like that physical side to things, lifting weights, and the animals is a perfect complement to that. I mean, so from my point of view, I'm always interested to know kind of how you found Qigong and kind of what benefits you've had from it over the last couple of months since you've been practicing.
Yeah, I've always really been interested in Qigong, and as I said, I was doing the YouTube videos for years before I met you and Katie. And then Faith and I a few years ago we took a kind of a month off and went to Southeast Asia, and I had these high ideals of going to do a Tai Chi or a Qi Gong class for a few weeks, and I actually ended up spending most of the time on the beach and not doing a Tai Chi class or a Qi Gong
Different
class.
kind of energy you get.
It was a different type of energy, yeah. We did actually go and stay at a meditation retreat in the jungle. We had to wear all white. And we weren't allowed to eat after. Yeah, exactly. We weren't allowed to eat after 11 o'clock in the morning, and we had to sleep in a kind of a long kind of bunk bed, kind of long house with about 12 single sex rooms, so we weren't allowed to share our same room. It was pretty intense. It was quite an experience, but I didn't end up doing the Tai Chi course. So I've always been interested in it, and I present the podcast about energy. So it just felt like it would resonate, and as simple as that, really. Once I've done the course with you, I've been doing an element or some of the kind of Qigong almost every day since. And now with the animal play, I've been doing that a bit since I've taken the course with you. And I suppose I should explain for people watching my stream and listening to my podcast, you just launched this hayoufit. You've been doing these Qigong classes for quite a long time, haven't you? But you've now been doing the hayoufit, which is basically a whole platform where you can do Qigong whenever you want during the day.
Yeah, basically, we've got a new website and a new business that we've just launched. And we basically have 3 pillars. We've got Boost, Build, and Be. And in the B section, that's all about breath work, meditation, and kind of healing yourself and reconnecting with your body through breath. Build is about building your inner Qi. So that's the 12 Rivers course and Between Heaven and Earth course. It's about building that energy back up inside so that you can start to kind of heal and start to re-energize. And then Boost. That's the animals, that's the more physical, the more yang style stuff where we're kind of boosting your body's strength. We're working with these animals called the 5 animals. Yeah. And each animal has a different attribute that relates to fitness and health. And so we're using those to kind of create an all-over health with that. So by choosing,
awesome. It's so cool.
It's fun, isn't it? And so by choosing something from each of those sections, Boost, Build and Be, you can find a balanced workout and a balanced lifestyle. So we're literally committing you from 360 degrees of health. And you can always find a little bit of time to do some breath work. When you've got a bit more time, you can do some 12 Rivers, and then you can add the animals in, and it's an amazing set of practices.
That's great. And I suppose one of the things that I'm interested in, I've got this weird kind of split audience. People who are the self-helpy, people who are interested in developing themselves, and who might have listened to an audiobook or a podcast that I've done, and then people who like sport who follow me for that. And if you're a kind of 6'2" rugby player watching this, you might think, is it for me? And actually, you are a 6'2" rugby player, and that you found it really helps on the sporting field as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you can control your breath and if you can learn to stay relaxed in those stressful situations, that's great. But also, if you're breathing better, you're going to have better lung capacity. Therefore, you're going to be able to kind of have more endurance when you're playing, and you're going to still have more power. And the animals certainly, as maybe we'll show you kind of some of the power exercises with the animals, it actually helps you to kind of gain that extra bit of strength, power, speed when you need it. The leopard's all about agility, so a lot of jumping around. It definitely complements my rugby and the rest of my sports that I play.
And in terms of the physical aspect of it, there's quite a lot of the the 12 Rivers. One of the ones I really like is kind of when you kind of get down like that.
Yeah, lovely tiger move.
Oh, it's a really nice stretch. That that kind of thing. I suppose there's a good stretching aspect. And it's just the energy lines, the Qi lines. I can feel the Qi in my body having woken up when I kind of do some of those moves.
Yeah, it's amazing. I suppose that when we're doing some of these moves, we're not just working on the physical. We're not just working on the muscles, the ligaments, tendons. We're going internal. We're looking at your internal organs, your emotions, all the energy flow. So it's an internal martial art. It's sort of massive benefits all across. Not just about physically how you look. That will change if you practice regularly, but how you feel, that energy flow, dealing with emotions, which actually men are getting better at dealing with. We're talking more, and that's a big part of what we're doing, kind of getting men to open up and find that this has a real big place in their lives. And
that's part of what I was getting onto before. I just think it's such a tough time at the moment. We've just got all these new restrictions which are coming in force tomorrow. A lot of people live on their own, or are worried about money and are losing their jobs, and they're just stressed because we are so stressed about everything at the moment. I think it's a real problem, and I really worry about people. And I do think something like this can help people a lot. Just the physicality of it really helps.
Yeah, I think we've definitely arrived at the right time. We're here in the right time where people need it, and people are at home more.
Yeah.
So they're wanting to learn online. don't need any equipment or anything fancy. You just need your body. That's it, and a bit of space to move.
And the great thing is, your neighbours will know how utterly ridiculous you are because they can see over the fence that
Yeah, exactly.
that we're doing.
We're pretty open here. Everyone can see exactly what we're doing. In fact,
It's all right. They see me doing it all the time out here anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that was when I was training to do Qigong. That was part of the course. Was do Qigong in a weird place where everyone's going to watch you, and get used to the fact that can you quieten your mind? Can you shut it all off and just go, actually, no, I'm just being me. I'm just being internal. I'm going for it. That was quite nerve-wracking to start off with, but you use the breath. You just go, right, this is a stressful situation. I've learned how to deal with stress because I know how to breathe, and I breathe through it, and then you just get in the flow. And actually, not that long ago in Ibiza, when we were allowed to travel, we were doing some filming, and I was having to do spinning mandarins, that big one, and there was probably about a couple of hundred people watching me at a sunset. And that was like, oh god, my heart was going, well, actually, now I'm in the flow of it. And most people then asked me what I was doing, and they're really intrigued by it and really liked it. They said really nice and peaceful, really calming, and they got a great energy from it as well, and they could see that. So yeah, it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've often thought about like presenting a podcast about energy. In some ways, energy is vitality. You feel more energetic when you do something that gives you energy, and in some ways, energy is this kind of weird and wonderful thing that we can't kind of see or feel or touch, but it's there. And sometimes you hang around people who make you feel energized. There's a lot that we don't understand about energy that we might in 50 years' time, or we might know more about. We might understand from a scientific perspective more about why Qigong works. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed that you're sharing this with the world because I just kind of want to keep it for myself, but there you go.
Sharing's caring, especially in the time of need.
Yeah. So you're going to demonstrate some stuff. What time is it?
12 minutes past.
12 minutes
yeah,
past.
we've got 15, 20 minutes. You can do some Qigong. So,
and obviously Katie's here as well, and I know it's very hard for her to stay out of the
Katie,
limelight.
you going to come join us for some moves?
What?
Can you come join us for some moves, Katie? Come on.
Are we okay with the social distance?
Yeah, you can be in the back. You're kind of me.
Okay, come on then.
We're making space for Katie. You've got all the way here. We can't leave you out.
Hello.
There she arrives. The wonderful Katie Brindle.
Ta-da!
You guys are in a bubble, so it's all
We're
right.
all,
Yeah.
we're in a bubble, we're in a bubble. Sorry,
we're outside, so yeah,
exactly.
I'm just interrupting this podcast for one moment to remind you that this month it is brought to you by the ultimate immunity protection stack. If you fancy yourself as a bit of a biohacker, I think you're going to enjoy this. It has been put together by my friends at Bioptimizers, and it is the Immunity Stack. So it contains 3 products that contain over 18 natural herbs and probiotic blends formulated to fight bad stuff in the gut, E. coli, salmonella, gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, and also repair compromised gut lining. Now that's the basics of it. It's also got some stuff which is very cool. It also includes psychobiotics, and you're basically going to have to head to the site and check this out. But psychobiotics help you increase serotonin and happy chemicals, naturally elevate your mood, performance and cognitive function with no side effects or dependencies. I mean, that's what Zestology is all about, isn't it? It's a great addition to your morning routine if you fancy a little bit of psychobiotics in your life over the next month or so. During the entire month of November, they are having a Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. So it's definitely the best time to kind of try their products out. Buy them as an early gift for someone you love as well. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, absolutely huge in the States and huge in the UK now as well. And if you want to go to bioptimizers.com/zestology, you can use the code Zestology10 to save an extra 10% on the immunity protection stack. Now, if you're in the UK, just head to bioptimizers.co.uk and that code will work as well, Zestology10. But if you want a bit more information about this immunity protection stack and the psychobiotics, go to bioptimizers.com/zestology. Enjoy. Let me know how you feel. Back to the show.
What are we doing, Arron?
Well, we're going to do a little bit of Qigong. Why don't you do the breath with us first? Why don't we do a reset breath or a rescue breath? And then I'll take us through some Qigong moves.
Yeah.
And you can follow along.
Okay,
Right.
so what we
So you
do...
come to the middle a bit more, then everyone can see us.
So what we do, when I always encourage the breath, is what you want to do first is get some out breath before you start in breathing. You want to get the toxic energy out of the body. So this is what I call the tiger breath. Basically, it's a bit of a twist from what Aaron's taught me. So to do the tiger move, you want nice tight hands, nice arch back, and then you want to be scratching down, and as you do it, you go...
So you said the neighbours will be watching
in
now.
a tiger.
I wish I'd warned all my neighbours about this.
I know, sorry about this. Crazy menopausal woman let loose in the garden. Right, let's go. One more. And now we can replenish. So just put your hands on your lower belly. You can close your eyes if you want. Take a deep, slow breath in. And slowly breathe out. Notice your hands. Breathe slowly in and out. Take your attention down. Where your hands are clasped. Allow your attention to stay down in your lower belly. And when we practice Qigong, this is the best place to breathe. Down in the lower belly. And now slowly blink your eyes. Come back to the garden. And I'll hand you to Arron. He's going to show us his moves.
Lovely, that's hypnotic.
Who knew I could speak so slowly?
No one is a million miles an hour. So Katie has just reset our bodies a little bit. We've connected, slowed the breath down, really important part of any practice. But she almost sent you to sleep. I'm going to wake you up a little bit now, so we're going to get stimulated. We're going to do some shaking. So just let it go, have some fun with it. The more ridiculous you look, the better. There's three of us.
And this is where I just dip the podcast. As I said, it's a hybrid podcast. And if you'd like to listen and watch to the rest of it, you can head to my Instagram account, which is instagram.com/TonyWrighton, and watch the workout that follows. I mean, I could leave it on the podcast. It'd be 20 minutes longer, but it's not going to make any sense. So there's no point in you just sitting there listening to what's going on without watching it as well. So save it for when you've got a little bit of time and actually enjoy a good workout. My Oura ring was very impressed with the workout that we did when I met the Qigong guys and the rest of this podcast. So if you want to listen to the second part of this hybrid podcast, head over to Instagram.com/TonyWrighton. It's very clear. It's the post that is titled Qigong in the Garden. And you'll see my garden as well. You might even see the shed with the sauna in it in the background. Look, the Qigong is so great. I mean, honestly, I absolutely love it, and I would love you to get more involved. And I think, I'm really impressed with what they've done with this site as well. hayoufit.com is the site. So that is HAYOU fit.com. And I've been into Qigong for quite a while. This year I've got a lot more into it. It provides the basis for so many of my workouts now. And what I like is that there's kind of lots of different areas that you can get into it. If you're listening to this podcast because you feel a bit tired and wired, and if you're lacking in energy, which I know a lot of people do, a lot of it's like kind of low level energy, people struggling with your fitness, then you will like the Qigong. And they have different sections of the site where you can go to, I think there's a section called Build, where you can kind of start slowly. And if you're feeling fragile with your health issues, and you can't even really do very much exercise, they've got a section for you on the site as well. And then if you're a fitness fanatic, you can do the kind of thing we were doing a little bit more in the hybrid podcast that you've been listening to. You can go straight into the Build or Boost sections of the hayoufit. I mean, what's awesome about it is there are loads of kind of online yoga services now. We've talked quite a bit about The Class, which is fantastic, and Faith does all the time. We've talked about Glow, and we've talked about P-Volve as well, which I subscribe to. But there's nothing like this out there. And I sent Katie a message a few months ago. I said, look, do you know what? I really think there's a gap in the market for somebody doing what all these kind of online yoga studios do, but with Qigong. And she sent me one back saying, funny you should say that, because I'm working on it. So I'm really pleased that it's happened now. And I think their idea of going on tour, I think Katie never does things by halves. And any of you who follow Katie on Instagram will know that. Nor does Arron. Arron's got a lovely kind of strong energy, as you would have been able to tell from this hybrid podcast. And I think together this is going to be a massive success. I hope I can help by inspiring you listening to this as well. And I did the 12 Rivers course. I did that in May, and I did the Animal Play course about a month ago. and that provides the basis for a lot of my workouts. What I like is it works at any time of day as well. I mean, I have been working hard today. I haven't done all the things that I normally like to do with my day. But once my little cherub goes to bed at about 7 or 7:30 tonight, I'm going to have maybe half an hour. And I'm not really in the mood for kind of killing it on the exercise bike at that time in the evening. I just don't want to do such intense exercise. But kind of a nice, relatively balanced Qi Gong class would be absolutely perfect. That's all about listening to how your body is feeling. I mean, I consider myself to be relatively fit, but I feel a little bit tired today, and it's going to be the evening. Recovery is going to be really important at that point, and using the breathing, weaving the breathing and kind of slightly more gentle movements in and out of a kind of a workout is going to be lovely for me. So, I mean, one of the great things about the hayoufit stuff is you can do the course and then you can do it yourself as well. So that is something that I like very much. And I've got used to, as I said earlier, the neighbours looking on a little bit strangely. I mean, I think a lot of people don't even know what I'm doing, but I like that. It is a very unique and utterly brilliant way of working out. And I have waxed lyrical about the outside energy because this podcast is all about energy and Qi, and that is what we're talking about. So I really hope you're inspired to check it out. That is it for this podcast, pretty much. Next week, I have author, journalist, and nutritional therapist Laura Bond, who has been featured in the Sunday Times, Tatler, the Mail on Sunday. She recently appeared in a show, The Truth About Cancer. I think it was on Channel 4. Don't quote me on that, but it was seen by 5 million people. Very, very popular show. And what she looks at is small changes to your everyday lifestyle that can make a dramatic difference to your long-term health. She also looks at affordable stuff. She looks at how what you do with your own health can affect the planet too. And she's brilliant. And I think she's quite similar to me in the way that she worries about a lot of stuff. When I first met her, next week I'll tell you the story properly, but when I first met her, we went for coffee in Dalesford Organic. And when I was paying, I was given the receipt and she said, "Do you know that all the receipts that you get in a shop are covered in BPA?" And every time I ever get a receipt in a shop now, I always think of Laura. It's ruined me getting receipts. I try not to touch them whenever I can. So Laura's coming next week. After that, it is episode 300 of Zestology. And I'm not going to be letting off any particular fireworks, only because I think that sometimes when you're listening to a podcast and they're like, it's our episode 50 or it's our episode 100 and we're going to spend the whole episode celebrating, I kind of think, I just want you to get on with it. So I'm going to get on with it. And even though I've been doing this podcast about 6 years now, I'm not going to kind of wallow or self-congratulate too much. And I'm going to be looking at re-energizing and recovering in what is possibly our worst year ever or our most stressful year ever. 2020, has it been our most stressful year? That is with Fiona Agombar, and that is the week after. So that's episode 300. Just before I go, this podcast is brought to you by the Ultimate Immunity Protection Stack. It was put together by my friends at Bioptimizers. The Immunity Stack has 3 products, contains over 18 natural herbs and probiotic blends, and it is formulated to fight and eliminate bad bacteria. And where they've been very clever here is it's all about immunity for November. And let's face it, we need it this November. I mean, with political turmoil and instability and a global pandemic as well, and shortages of loo roll, we really do need immunity. It also includes psychobiotics, which help increase serotonin and happy chemicals, make you feel good, elevating your mood, performance and cognitive function. It's a really good addition to your morning routine, this, and it tastes good as well. And during the entire month of November, they've got a special deal. It's Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and it's all rolled into one kind of sale. So if you head to bioptimizers.com/zestology and use coupon code zestology10, you can save an extra 10% on the Immunity Protection Stack. You won't find that deal or stack anywhere else, and this is only available until the end of November, so not for too long. You get quick shipping as well if you go to bioptimizers.com/zestology, and if you're in the UK, go to bioptimizers.co.uk, and you can use the code zestology10 there as well. So if you're someone who drinks kind of coffee or tea or smoothies or anything in the morning, really, I think this will kind of pair up very well. It's a very tasty way to start your day and defend yourself against harmful bacteria. And I'm very proud that this Ultimate Immunity Protection Stack is my podcast partner for November. And I hope you've enjoyed this hybrid podcast. It's really nice to do a little bit more on Qi Gong. It's something that one of the great privileges of doing your own podcast on energy is you can focus on whatever you like. And I've found this so important for my own energy levels and my own vitality that it's something I wanted to focus on a lot more. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.